and welcome back to another mock review. Today I'm going over TTV Epsilon of Fire. You may recognise the name Vladin, as he is my co-writer in the Bio Avengers, and he does a lot of mocks that I do my own versions for, as I have a few more pieces than him. So this is his own self-mock, and this is my version for it. It's been changed a lot over the time that I've had him. First he had a cape, then he had a much bigger sword, he's had a shield, he's had a different torso build, he's had a lot of different things, and he's pretty much all changed except for the mask and the general colour scheme. And these pieces on the side. I always wanted to put dark red on the shoulders because the original mock had big dark red shoulders. So I'm going to start off with the general appearance of him. I'm pretty happy with it. He's not gappy in any particular areas. This bit here under his torso I'm not super happy with. There's a bit of gaps there. I did try to fill it in with that little orange piece there, but it didn't quite work. It's still a little bit gappy, but for the most part he's pretty good. He actually uses quite an interesting build, and that is a 2016 Uniter torso beam piece, and the hips and all that, and an Inika torso, Inika shoulder piece in black. I used this mainly because I just had the Inika torso, the Inika shoulders, and I wanted to use them for something, but also because I wanted to give Vladin broader shoulders, just because the original mock had broader shoulders than some of the other mocks I've seen, and I wanted to, put that into my mock itself. The colour scheme I am probably the most happy with on this mock. It consists mainly of red, just normal red, a tiny bit of dark red on the shoulders here, and the Borak eyes on the ankles, taken straight from Toa United Tahu, from 2016 with the Azure Borak eyes, and gunmetal and black, and then obviously, there's bits of grey and other things. Ooh, another piece of dark red, these two bits in the torso here. The torso is actually quite interesting because I could have just left this bit here off and just used the Unika torso and put the chest armor on, but it felt really gappy here, because there are two pinholes on the back. Felt really gappy here and up in the top, so I decided to fill it in a little bit, just with an interesting construction there. It also allowed me to put a little bit more dark red into the build, which is something I wanted to do because there wasn't a lot of dark red, and so it evens out the colours a bit more. Another thing that is nice is the colour distribution, so it's very evident that he's got a lot of black in the arms, and then the red in the middle section, with the helmet, the mask, and the chest and the top of the legs, and that is, I like that because it draws attention to the centre of the mock, which is sort of what I want to draw attention to. I don't want to draw attention to say the boots, which are gunmetal. I don't mind the gunmetal boots because it sort of looks more like boots, not just normal feet, like a normal Toa would have. It does sort of look like some sort of, lava resistant boots or something. As you can see, I've custom painted these boots, sort of a dark red sort of shade on it. Again, more dark red. I needed to add more dark red into the mock, and also because it makes them look a bit more worn, no pun intended. So, it looks like his boots have been worn a lot, and so they've worn down, and been broken. Another thing is the sword. The sword is very, very, very simple. It's just, it's just one of those three little beam things that came out in Brain Attack, and some blades and some fire in the middle, because fire and stuff. And, you know, it's super simple, nothing particularly amazing going on with the sword. The hand guard is pretty cool, I guess. It, you know, is a bit unique. But other than that, the sword is pretty boring. An interesting thing about the sword, actually, is that it can connect to the back, which I guess is more of an interesting thing about the back. So the back, you can't see too well, but it has one of the original hand pieces for Bionicle and a ball socket there, so it can actually, this thing here can actually turn. It's got plenty of friction. The sword is not going to flop around, and so if you put this in here, you could have the sword straight down, you could have it slightly to the side. If you wanted to make it look like he was in the process of drawing it, I don't know who draws a sword like that, you know, I don't know, but, you know, he draws it around there, so you can, you know, get some dynamic poses with the sword on the back. Speaking of the back of the MOC, it doesn't look too bad, taking the sword off. It doesn't look too bad. There is a blue axle face here, which is unfortunate. Nothing I can do about the colours of the pins and axles. The red ones obviously don't disturb the MOC. There's literally two in the ankles, one in the head, which isn't visible, and one in the sword, which also isn't visible, so they don't disturb the MOC, even if you could see them red. But the blue really is kind of annoying. But the rest of it is okay. The arms are, you know, standard for CCBS, as are the legs. They're not covered at all. They look very shell-like. Just because I don't have too many pieces to cover that. Oh, this has come off. And so they're not super good looking from the back, but as I think I've said in the past, I'm not super bothered about how the back of my MOCs look. One thing that is annoying about this MOC is his stability. So just the sizes of bones I've used, I didn't want to add any more friction adders other than in the ankles, just to make the ankles look a bit more, you know, complete with the Baroque eyes. They'd look a bit weird, sticking out into the, you know, the bottom of this wider CCBS armor. And so, especially in the knees, because I think for some reason these pieces have sort of, you know, they're not too strong. I think they've just been used a bit too much, and so they tend to be a little bit floppy. Posability isn't really a problem, but just, you know, moving the MOC around, they can get into some strange positions. But generally it's not too bad. He does have the waist articulation that a lot of the Toa do. I've removed the sort of the extended bit here to make it easier to access. So you'll just have to use the gear if you want to use it as a play function. But I mainly did that because the sword was, it was getting in the way of the sword. He has the blue eye stalk, because it stands out from the rest of him, and the red one looked evil, and the orange one just didn't look right, so blue is the colour I went with. Blue is the colour I go with most of my eye stalks, mainly because I have a lot of blue eye stalks, because LEGO uses a lot of blue eye stalks. So yeah, so that is pretty much TTV Vladin. If you have any comments or criticism for TTV Vladin, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the time-lapse. This has been another sort of experimental review to see, because this one was a little bit less scripted and a little bit more slow-paced than my last review on Vakoron, this little guy. He's changed a tiny bit. So let me know if you enjoy the faster-paced or the slower-paced reviews, and I'll do them in future. My next review is going to be on a completely new character, new and original character of mine that I'm quite excited to share with you guys. You can see a little sneak peek of him. There's a sneak peek. Here we go. So that pretty much shows half the MOC. It's very similar to Toulon, and I'm going to be showing the update for Toulon in that video as well. So once again, feel free to leave any comments or criticism down in the comment section below. I will reply to every single comment, and I will, if you have any very good ideas, I will implement them into the MOC as best I can, and I will make an update video if and when I do change this MOC enough to warrant an update video. I hope you're looking forward to the next MOC review, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!